Hello everyone, my name is Michael and I want to welcome you back to Sovereign Gaming. So as you can see on screen here, we are back in the world of SimCity, which is a build series that is on my channel. So if you haven't had a chance to check out how that's coming along, there are a bunch of episodes that you can watch if you'd like. Anyways, today's project is all about the film studio lot. Now, in late night, we were introduced to the film studio, and it came with a career, the acting career that branched off into either acting or directing. And so I felt like it was absolutely appropriate to have it in the SimCity port or shipyards neighborhood, because the neighborhood is a lot more secure, and when it comes to film studios, there is an elevated need for security there because you've got to have your starlets protected from people, I guess, from other people, from the public, really. And there's a lot of expensive equipment that comes along with film studios. So that was a big reason why I wanted to have the film studio located within the industrial port, or at least just kind of near it. It's actually located in it, not near it, but it is on the outskirts of the industrial port. So it was really a decision that just kind of came naturally, and I'm very happy with the way that it turned out, I suppose. I'll get more into that in just a second. So if you've been following along with the SimCity series, I have been alluding to this entire time that the edit in-game mode will no longer work for me after I build the film studio lot. Now, the reason that is going to be the case with the series going forward is that I went on a bit of a downloading spree when it came to the Sims 3 store. I've explained it before extensively, but essentially I came across the business as usual bistro, and I really wanted to incorporate that within the build, so I went ahead and stupidly downloaded it along with the Old Town stuff that came with the Sims 3 store, and now I'm in the situation that I'm in, which just means that I can no longer access the edit in-game mode. What that means going forward with this series is that from now on, it's just gonna all be episodes recorded in the Create a World tool. And yeah, so there's not gonna be any more lot building, unfortunately. I guess this is just like a teaser for what happened. And the more unfortunate thing about this glitch that I'm dealing with now is that it came while I was in the middle of building the film studio. So I would have had to have saved the film studio, and then I went to go browse the Sims 3 store, and then that's when I came back to learn that the editing game mode is just no longer working for me there. Now, I gave him a shout out before, but he definitely deserves another mention again, and that is BoringBones. He actually did try to help me one-on-one with my problems when I was complaining and whining about it on Twitter there. So he actually came to my rescue, and he was giving me lots of different techniques and tricks to try to get the Create a World tool to run again. Unfortunately, none of them worked, which is why I've been saying this whole time that there's going to be a hard stop when it comes to lot building. So yeah, thank you again, BoringBones. Really do appreciate it. You are awesome. And if you haven't already, certainly check out his channel on YouTube and also follow him on Twitter. He posts a lot of great things. He does a lot of modding, and he is super talented when it comes to modding. I am jealous, really, as I know that he would probably be able to get his hands on this world and just like work some real magic into it. So again, a big thank you goes out to BoringBones. I really do appreciate the help you're giving me there. So yeah, going forward, this series again is just gonna all be focused in the Create a World, and then eventually when I am satisfied with how it's looking in Create a World, I'll export it and actually upload it in-game, where I will just actually build the lots in-game. So it'll switch from Create a World at one point to just lot builds going from then on out. Let's talk about the actual lot building and what's going on here. So as you can see, I have placed the film studio community shell building that came with Late Night, and I'm letting that do a lot of influencing as to how this lot is going to come about. I know that the entrance that Sims uses is actually on the left-hand side of it, if I remember correctly. Not on the prop side, but on the other side. That's where Sims actually go in to use it. So I had to make sure that that was actually accessible. But the idea with the film studio lot is actually just to kind of create a lot of studios within it using a warehouse aesthetic, so that I could help match it within the rest of the SimCity Port neighborhood. I also decided to use like a really blocky wall to surround the lot in, because that would definitely be something that would be needed to add in that sense of security for both the stars and for the equipment that goes in. I also tried to outline it so that you could theoretically get a semi-truck to actually drive through the lot. That was kind of the idea here, because you would have those kind of semi-trucks delivering props and delivering different kinds of set pieces or cameras and all that. So I certainly tried to emulate that within the actual layout of the building itself. Now, again, I only get about halfway done the entire lot, but as you can see, like, it is a 15-minute video approximately, and we're going at 400 speed, so it is a much larger build, much like the shipyards that I was doing before. In theory, like I should have done with the shipyards, I would likely have to split this one into 2 episodes, because it's just a really long build. It would have been a really long build had I completed it. But the idea here, again, was to create those separate studios that you could film within. And the unfortunate part here with the Late Night film studio is that it has those props on the outside, so it kind of forced my hand in creating some sort of an outdoor set, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I think that for a film studio lot, everything would be indoors, but because I've got this Western thing happening, I decided to just kind of surround it with some of those Western props and to just try to create a scene out of that could theoretically be rolled in or out of one of the film warehouses that I end up building on this lot. One stuff pack that works really well for this lot build is obviously the movie stuff pack. The only unfortunate thing about that movie stuff pack is that it doesn't come with any kind of cameras. So it kind of like kills the vibe there. Like, you really only have the 3 themes, one of them being Western, luckily, the other being science fiction, and then superheroes, and then I believe there might have been a horror one as well. Anyways, the Sims 3 movie stuff is something that really pairs well for this lot, and it was absolutely one of the last stuff packs that I actually picked up for The Sims 3, just because I never really thought it was that much worth it. I still kind of don't, but when I was working back in the day, it was certainly something that I picked up just when I had a little bit of extra mad money to play with. So yeah, I got the Sims 3 movie stuff. That was one of the last stuff packs that I got. Another expansion pack that I got was the Into the Future expansion pack, which I actually ended up loving. I really enjoyed the Into the Future stuff, just with the idea of traveling into the future. Like, again, it was an expansion pack that I was really not vibing with, just because it didn't feel like it was something that would be worth my money. And, you know, the Into the Future expansion pack actually kind of surprised me. Whereas the movie stuff pack kind of, I don't want to say disappointed me, because when I had the mad money to spend, I was definitely creating a film lot at the time, much like this one. But yeah, the use of green screens here is something that I wanted to have throughout the lot, just because I'm not going to create a whole interior just for something that I would set up as a set of walls with some props on it that would be rolled in or out of a warehouse. So yeah, the green wall is certainly something that makes its way throughout the rest of the lot build. And if it doesn't, then it's absolutely something I will continue to use for the second half of the lot. What you're seeing me do here now is actually create a set of actor trailers in this lot. I also wanted to surround it with the same wall that I used to surround the entire lot in. So again, it's an added layer of privacy, an added layer of security, Maybe the placement of where these actor trailers are is not the best, but I couldn't put them at the back of the lot. And I wanted to use the rest of the room for other little film studio warehouses as well. So yeah, even though like with late night, if I remember correctly, like when you get your sim high enough in the acting field, they can actually carry around their own private trailer. Even though that was something that is available in the game, I couldn't find it in the buy debug mode because I was searching for it in buy debug and it just wasn't something that was showing up there. The director chair showed up there, which is something that I appreciate much more in a way. But yeah, the actor trailer never did show up in the buy debug mode. I could be wrong on that. And so yeah, what I decided to do is I decided to create a pair of actor trailers. I made it very bare bones, like I gave them like a really small bathroom. I think it was, it's just the all-in-one bathroom there. There's a double bed, a double Murphy, no, it's not a Murphy bed, but a double bed is in there as well. And just like some really basic stuff that you would find in a typical actor trailer for those that are shooting scenes late at night or well into the night or have an early schedule the next day. I just wanted it to be like a very bare bones trailer, because even like when you look at super famous people and their actor trailers, which is something that I was barely researching at the time, like they aren't super fancy. They're more functional than anything else. And I mean, the checks that they cut to buy the houses that they do is certainly something that they can go home to. It's just that the trailer serves as a temporary place for an actor to sleep in if they have a really tight acting schedule. So that's exactly the kind of purpose that I wanted to design these specific trailers for as well. As these trailers come alive, let me explain to you like what the plans are for the rest of the lot, because pretty much after these trailers are built, that's when I went on my Sims 3 store shopping spree and lost the editing game function. So for the rest of the lot, I am actually planning to add in more warehouses where you have these indoor scenes that you can film. And then I was just really gonna pretty much play around with the movie stuff pack in terms of creating different scenes that could be filmed in each of these studio warehouses. So for example, I would likely do an interior shot of the Western themed stuff from the movie stuff pack, because I could only do exteriors on the outside in this case, so I would do an interior there. I would probably do some sort of a superhero setup. There's also a horror set in there as well in the Sims 3 movie stuff pack, so I would definitely incorporate it into that for this build. There's also a superhero one. I think I might have mentioned it, but it would have been fun to like maybe play around with the idea of using a car or some sort of a vehicle scene in it. So we'll see if that like comes to be whenever I do get the SimCity world exported. But yeah, that's the idea behind the film studio overall, is really giving that place for actors to actually sleep and engage within their trailers, and then also to really design these different movie sets as different focal points for within the lot. Although these focal points aren't necessarily functional per se, they do communicate, they do tell the story really of the film studio and the film industry within SimCity that seems to prevail consistently. I mean, in The Sims 1, there was even a little studio town that came complete with many other kind of aspects of commercial lots with that. Like there was a whole neighborhood called Studio Town within the Sims 1 Superstar. And even though I didn't want to replicate that here in SimCity, which arguably could be something that I do here, it is something that I do try to represent just within this one lot here for in terms of when it comes to film studios and whatnot. So yeah, that was really the idea behind that, and maybe there's a better place to put in an official studio town, but I actually like this film lot right where it is right now. And who knows, I might change my mind later on, actually build a real studio town somewhere, I don't know where. I'm really not interested in the idea, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I could always move this lot to somewhere else because it is on flat land, so it wouldn't be a headache to move per se. Then I'd have a big empty lot here. Anyways, that was the vision for this, for the rest of the build, and yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed it so far. And that's really gonna do it for the rest of the studio build. Unfortunately, this was the time where I actually went and did the Sims 3 shopping spree, which led into the editing game feature no longer being available for me to use. So, next episode, we are going back into Create a World because we can't go anywhere else, and we are going to continue building the SimCity world as we see fit here. So I'm very excited to help expand more upon the Old Town aspects of it, and I actually believe, if I remember correctly, that I do get into more decorating there. So I'm very excited to show that to you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this series so far, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you again, and please enjoy the rest of your day.